Be quiet. You may wonder why I'm whispering. It's because it's really late at night, and this is my daily driver right now, and something is not right. I'm pretty sure it's just an exhaust leak coming from the headers on this side, so I bought new gaskets for it. I'm going to put those on tonight so that I can use this thing for work, because right now it is the only thing I can drive. So I'm going to try to get this exhaust leak wrapped up. I'm hoping that's all it is. I am getting a little bit of noise out of this side of the engine. So, I mean, with 115,000 miles and being beat on at the track so many years and being beat on the street, you know, things do start to wear out. It did pull that valve cover off a couple days ago and looked at everything. Nothing looked wrong in there. I mean, no broken valve springs, no sign of wear or anything. But I'm hoping it's not the camshaft, because this is a pretty aggressive camshaft. It's a hydraulic cam, but it's still pretty aggressive. It's over 500 lift to be used as a daily driver. But I have for years, so you know, it's possible though something's gone wrong. But for now, we're going to start with replacing the gasket on this particular header, and we're going to drive it to work tomorrow. So hopefully I'm not up too late, but stay tuned. I will get better video of this. I've been driving it in the rain so much. I took some video, but it was just terrible. You could barely make anything out while I was driving it in the rain. So I promise I'll have better video here coming up. So stay tuned to Project Barn to Boulevard. Thanks for watching. Okay, I prepped the surfaces of the header, so they're nice and clean now. Also, the head is nice and clean. I sprayed a little bit of carb cleaner on a rag, wiped that down. I know it's hard to see here because it's late at night, but I used this flat file on the headers to try to prep the surface a little bit. These headers, they're so damn old. I put these on the car, man, I think I was 14 years old, which is an eternity ago. But they're Blackjack headers. We used to refer to them as sandpaper headers because that's how they treat your hands when you're working on the car. But it's not in the budget right now to get new headers, so I'm just working with these. And I've had a header gasket problem. I did not in the past, but now all of a sudden I'm having one. So I'm prepping them a little bit, putting on brand new gaskets. The gaskets I pulled off look like total garbage. They didn't look this bad, of course, when they were on the car. When I pulled them off, they tore apart. I never put RTV on header gaskets, but the other day I did it as a last resort to try to get through the work week here, and it didn't work. So I picked up brand new header gaskets, and I'll put those on now that everything's been prepped. Real simple, but sometimes I end up assuming that everybody out there has worked on this stuff before and has seen it. So I apologize if I assume sometimes that people have done it, but when you work on this stuff all your life, sometimes it's hard to realize that guys out there with the newer cars that never work on them ever don't get a chance to see this stuff. So don't mean to offend anybody, but this is how a real man's car looks. I'm just kidding. I will install the header gaskets, and we'll move on from there. Alright, we're ready for the install of the header gasket. What I always like to do is place the frontmost bolt and the rearmost bolt into place, because these gaskets is really nice. They notched them. So you can actually slide this into place and then put in the remaining header bolts. Very straightforward and simple. Okay, new header bolts are in place. The header is tight. Now tomorrow, after I drive it to work and get back home, I will go through all of these bolts once again, because then the engine's gone through a heat cycle where it's heated up, cooled down, heated up, cooled down. These bolts will have a tendency to back out. They'll loosen up a bit, so I'll snug them up once again tomorrow. Now it's on to putting the exhaust pipe back up to the header flange. Okay, what we're looking at here is my header flange, my gasket, and my tailpipe. I apologize for the poor lighting, folks, but this is reality TV here. No shop or anything, just me laying on the ground, where I tend to do my best work. But I'm going to put the 3 bolts through the pipe, the header flange, and the gasket, and hopefully everything will seal up. Oh, by the way, I do use, this happens to be from Percy's, I believe, but Mr. Gasket has them as well. It's a dead soft aluminum. You can use them over and over again. This one here is starting to get a little bit beat. I've had it for, geez, who the heck knows? Everything's a blur to me with this this project and the car. What happens is if they do have a tiny bit of a leak, a lot of times they'll just seal themselves up because of the carbon. That was the case in this piece here. I just kept reusing it, and I will try to reuse it again. Okay, the header flange is tightened up, and hopefully it's going to seal good. If not, I'll just have to buy another aluminum gasket for it. But for now, I'm going to keep my fingers crossed and hope for the best. Now it's on to putting our spark plug wires back in place, and then we'll try firing it up. Well, the gaskets did not work, obviously, because you can see the header is off the car. What happened here was the gaskets might have worked, but the flange was so soft that I was actually starting to bend it, and I noticed that when I was tightening it up, right there's a big old nice slit in the collector. So what I had to do was buy some cheap headers, and I ended up choosing the Hooker Competition header. It's far superior to the Hedman headers that are the same price, and the reason I say that is this flange is 5/16 rather than a 1/4 inch. Also, the hookers are 16 gauge rather than Hedman's 18 gauge, and also the flange at the collector is thicker on the Hooker header. So, in my opinion, the Hooker headers are much better than the Hedman in this price range, which is $180, around $185, $186. So I'm going to try these out, let everybody know how they fit. What I had before, which lasted a long time, were Blackjack headers, and my gosh, at the time these were pretty cheap. I think I paid maybe $120 for them, and that was probably about 25 years ago. So they served their purpose and lasted a long time. The one concern I do have is regarding my flange area. These were floating flanges, which I actually liked because I could rotate them to match my exhaust pipes, when the Hooker headers have a stationary style. And what's kind of stupid is they put the part with the worst ground clearance towards the bottom. So what I'll have to do is cut off the end of my exhaust, or the front of my exhaust where it mates up to my collector, and weld on a new flange area to mate up with this flange right here. And I will be sanding these off. This is just a anti-corrosion coating that they put on these. I'll be sanding that off and then prepping them and painting them white, because my car needs to have white headers on. It always did. I'm an old school gasser super stocker lover, so white headers is what this car needs. So I'll keep everyone posted as I move along here. Sorry for the setbacks all the time with this, but when a car sits a while, you run into some headaches as you get it ready to get back on the road again. So stay tuned, and I'll prep these headers and I'll show you how they look when they're done.